Hello there. A few videos back I showed you my collection of the 20th anniversary picture discs by the Beatles. It came out from 82 to 1990, 20 years after the original release, starting with Love Me Do to Let It Be in 1990. But these are my original 1960s singles from the UK. There's one from 1970, but we won't worry too much about that. So the first one, let's get cracking. Go through these fairly quickly. That's Love Me Do and Please Please Me. I bought this in 1969, so I'm guessing it is a later copy. The original one came out on a red label. This is the standard black 60s Parlophone label. See some adverts on the back. Silver black and the Beatles, Sgt Pepper, Deep Purple, Hollies. The first one got number 17. Please Please Me came next with Ask Me Why on the back. That got to number 2. Right. Now most of these early singles I did buy in the 1970s. Sort of went back and collected the ones I hadn't got. So the very early ones are definitely from the 70s, or they were second hand, so I managed to track them down in various junk shops and the like, thrift shops. So that's from me to you, and thank you, girl. She Loves You and I'll Get You. So Beatlemania kicked off big style. It kicked off even more with this one. I Want to Hold Your Hand, and This Boy, great B-side. Next came Can't Buy Me Love, You Can't Do That. Again this is a later sleeve, but again I did buy that in the 1970s, possibly with that sleeve, I don't know, don't remember. Hard Day's Night, Things We Said Today, 1970s purchase, but in original 60s. I Feel Fine, She's a Woman, Ticket to Ride, and Yes It Is. Original, I think that's a 65 sleeve. Next came Help and I'm Down. Date of birth, and we can work it out now. This is where I stepped in. This was my very first piece of vinyl, and this is actual one. 1965, Christmas time. I knew I was having a record player for Christmas off Mum and Dad, so I bought this previous to getting probably the first couple of weeks of December. So I had this ready for when I got my new record player, and I also had my uncle bought me Hard Day's Night LP to go along with it. So there we go, my very first vinyl. So in other words, I bought the rest of these as they came out, or they were bought for me. Paperback Writer and Rain, Alan Rigby, Yellow Submarine, fantastic Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever, possibly the best single ever. Should have been on Sgt Pepper, but that's another argument. So this is great, but the disappointment for me, I bought this more or less straight away when it came out, and found out a week or so later could have had it in a picture sleeve. That's always bugged me, that. Never mind. All You Need Is Love, Baby You're a Rich Man. Great B-side from John, and a great A-side from John. I think this was John's last A and B side issue. Yeah, good stuff. Hello Goodbye, with I Am the Walrus on the B side. Lady Madonna, with George's Inner Light on the B side. I remember being at school and my school pals one or two of them were saying they didn't like the new Beatles single, which is this one, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it fine. Paul plays great piano and great vocals. Right, that was the last parlophone issue. We're now on Apple, Hey Jude, and Revolution. I absolutely love that design. So you got the full green apple on the A side and the sliced apple on the B side. Great stuff and a great song. Now I think when this came out, Revolution was on the back obviously. Very distorted sound. I seem to remember a lot of people were taking this record back thinking there was something the matter with it. In other words, it's faulty. It was just the way the Beatles recorded it. Fuzzy, distorted sounds of the guitar. Silly people, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Get back. Don't let me down. Ballad of Johnny Yoko. Old Brown Shoe from George on the back. Something from George on the A side. Come Together from John on the B side. Possibly wasn't necessary to release this as a single. I think it got to number 2. Most of the others got to number 1. But this got to number 2. And I think it was an Alan Klein idea to put a single out with George on the A side. But as I say, it got to number 2. All these singles got to number 1 apart from the first, from Lovely June, Please Please Me. So the first 2 weren't number 1s and the last 2 weren't number 1s either. Now the very last one, Sad Days Now, come to think we're at the end of the band. That's Let It Be. And You Know My Name, look up the number. That B-side goes back possibly to, I think they started recording this in 1967, then they sort of went back and finished that one off. Great stuff though, that's great B-side. Well, Let It Be, yeah, the last Beatles single to be released while they were still officially a band, and this was 1970, so we got 60s and 70s, got to number 2. I think Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel was number 1, so possibly beaten by a better song. Not over keen on Let It Be. It's I don't know, would have been better as a Wings song maybe. Didn't feel like the Beatles, apart from when George played that fantastic guitar solo. Anyway, I'm wittering on a little bit now, aren't I? So yeah, so this then is my collection of 1960s Beatles UK singles, and they mean a lot to me. I grew up in the 1960s. I grew up listening to these songs. Not a big singles collector, but most of these weren't on albums, so if you wanted a new Beatle track, you bought the single, and that's what I did. But see, I started off with Day Tripper, and then I bought everyone then, and then got into the 1970s. I thought I'll complete this collection, and spent a couple of years just going around second-hand shops and that type of place, thrift shops, yeah, that type of thing, you know. So managed to get them all back again, a full collection. Would be nice to say I bought all these at the time, but it didn't happen that way, so I bought half of them anyway, so that's a good start. Okay, so we'll leave it like that and do a cut and say thank you for watching, and bye bye for now.